Hi, welcome to the Recovery Daily Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Abbasi. I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic and stroke survivor. And man, do I have some stuff to catch you up on. And I'm also like slightly on edge because we just had the radon inspector, like the person who comes when you're moving to put a radon detector in your house. For like 3 days. Anyway, he showed up and Autumn like lost her freaking shit at the door. I talk about how trained she is, and it's everything but when somebody knocks on the door. And it was terribly embarrassing. And it was like it came out of nowhere. And I'm just like completely like on edge, I guess. Anyway, I have not recorded, and I'm telling you, the lack of me recording every day is not a sign that I am moving away from this podcast. I assure you, there's a lot going on, and I'm doing my best to try to take care of myself throughout. So I wanted to talk about today what's been going on, catch you up since Thursday, and then also talk about practicing these principles in all of our affairs, which is something that I had the opportunity to lead an AA meeting on Friday out of Florida, and I got to talk about this, and it was extremely emotional for me due to just Friday was, I think, the climax of just stress in my life. So where should I start? I'll start with Friday. How about that? So Friday morning, I did my virtual AA meetings, and then a loved one of mine was going into surgery on Friday to have a tumor removed from her bladder. And when that surgery happened, we found out that she had 3 tumors in her bladder, and that it is most likely cancerous. And I think it was communicated a little more affirmative than that. But so I found out like late Friday morning that this one of my most dearest human beings in the world has bladder cancer. And of course, we won't know the severity of it until we get like that report back, like the biopsy report back. So I feel, I lately having the putting our house on the market and having a timeline for that. Also having this chronic pain in the background is always it exponentially worsens stress for me, because I'm trying to remain calm, but yet I have this like pain, in the background that can like send me over the edge. um, so so that happened, and then I went about my day, just doing what I do. I made some jewelry and such, and then we had a showing for the house, and it turned out that the showing for our house was going to be 45 minutes into my AA meeting that I was leading. So I'm like, oh, how am I going to do this all? And, when you have your house on the market, there's like at least an hour of preparation before you leave the house. Like all the beds have to be, for me, everything's pristine. When I walk out the door, all the lights are on, I've got even some little electric, like battery operated candles that I light in certain areas and stuff. I know I go overboard, probably. So I was a little stressed about that. So I got everything ready for the showing. I showed up to the AA lead. why did you just not lead the meeting, Rachel? Well, I'll tell you, when I say yes in AA, that's it. I try to my very best ability not to back out of something like that. And I really felt like after finding out about my loved one that has cancer, I thought this is exactly what I need today. I need to be able to talk. So I showed up to the meeting, and as soon as probably the second sentence, I started sharing, I started crying, and it was really what a release. And I talked about my loved one. I talked about my sobriety. I talked about my stroke. I talked about my vestibular disorder, and I talked about finding out that my loved one had cancer that morning. And it was a really, if I don't mind saying so myself, it was extremely powerful share because I was just super, super emotional. There was quite a bit of breaking down a little bit to the point where I couldn't talk. There wasn't any ugly crying, I don't think, but I was right on the verge. So at the end of that share, um, there was something that happened that almost felt like the earth moved beneath my feet. Um, I I was closing out my lead and I was talking about practicing these principles in all of our affairs. And what I planned what I was going to talk about to an extent, like I do for my podcast. Like I had an outline just to keep me on track, but wherever I go, I go. And so when I was wrapping up, what was coming out of me was like the need to talk, the need to how beneficial it was for me to show up and talk about what was going on in my life. That is practicing these principles in all of my affairs. Showing up to a meeting and talking about the pain and talking about the fear. And what I said was, I can't do this. I can't do this without the program of Alcoholics Anonymous and without God. And I have never said it like that. You guys know that a lot of times when I talk about my higher power, I don't necessarily say God. I say like my higher power, which God, my understanding of God is a part of that. Like I'm always like trying to wrap it up in a nice big bow. I never just say God. And that's what I said at the end of the meeting. And it was like it hit me. It hit me strongly when I said it. I was like, yes. It was almost like I was telling myself, I can't do this without the program of Alcoholics Anonymous and without God. Like it solidified this relationship that I've been leaning on ever since I got sober, but how it's been nurtured throughout, and I'm heavily leaning on it in stroke recovery. And so that's what I mean by like, I felt like the earth move underneath me. It was like, yes, like this is it. This is what faith is. And I meant it, and it wasn't uncomfortable. The word God wasn't uncomfortable when it came out of my mouth during that meeting. And so after, like, I had amazing feedback during the meeting. Like one guy said, I wish I had heard this share when I first came into AA 30 years ago, because this would have kept me sober or something like that. And I was like, wow. And so it was a lot of great feedback for me. And I I spent the rest of the evening, we went off to leave. We left the house for the showing. All of that went fine. After I shared, I went off camera and we got in the car, and in the rest of the meeting, I was in the car. But after all of that, and I got back home and I was going to bed, I was thinking about it. I was thinking about how easily that rolled off my tongue and how much I meant it and how much it just like it almost carved a deeper stamp inside my heart when I said it. And the next morning, I woke up. But the other thing that I had said, other than that, was there is no other option than for me to get back up. That's what I do when all of this stuff is happening in my life and I feel so damaged and broken and I feel stressed out, and I feel like I can't do it. I just keep going. I just get back up. That's what I do. And so the next morning I woke up. So this was Saturday morning. Saturday morning I woke up and we had a offer on our house. And I was like, "Oh my gosh." Like I had reached this climax of stress Friday night and I claimed my reliance on God. I claimed my my perseverance and my need to just keep going and get back up. And I woke up the morning and things started getting better. Immediately, we got an offer on the house. I was able to talk to my mom. My mom, oh, sorry, my loved one is doing okay. She's dealing with recovery, but she's doing okay, And then I have zero tolerance for my dogs barking. And they are both like growling and stuff because they hear noises. After the whole radon man fiasco, whenever they open their mouth now, I'm like, anyway, so the cat's out of the bag. My mom is doing okay and is in recovery, and we will find out what's going on. And then there's dealing with the offer. Okay. So we're like, oh, thank God we have the offer and stuff. And so we did our, you do the counter offer and you go back negotiations. Well, the negotiations took through Sunday. We woke up Sunday morning, we had another offer. We had a second offer. And things just it was revealed to me that through the hard times, like you just keep, even if it feels like you're stepping in quicksand, you just keep walking. And there's always the other side. Yes, I'm still stressed out. Absolutely, I'm stressed out. So now we are dealing with 20 days to pack up our entire house and get out, before we move to the new house. And so there's another level of stress there. There's doing all of the stuff when you're selling your house and inspections and contingencies and all of these things. And so that's another level of stress, it's a different stress. And I was feeling so much stress the past 2 days that I went over to the elementary school that's beside my house and I saw no other option but to run. And I was afraid that I was going to end up falling over or something like that. But I was able to very, very slowly, like not even a jog, it was almost like a tiptoe jog or something. And I did that around, there's a track over there. And I did that around the track. It's like a mini track, like an elementary school track. So I did that around. I needed to burn the energy. I've talked a lot about how stress is energy, and I had to burn it because if I don't physically burn it, I'm going to emotionally burn it, and I can't handle that. I can't handle the emotionally burning stress. It causes harm. It causes harm to me, and it could cause harm to those around me if they are exposed to my mouth when I'm burning emotional stress. So I did do a little tiptoe run around the track, and then I did it again yesterday, and I feel okay. I mean, for I have heightened symptoms, and but I didn't fall over, and that's a win. So I thought, maybe I can go over here and, you know me, maybe I can go over here and tiptoe run every day. I'm like, Rachel, you gotta just get your shit together, Rachel. Just settle down. So anyway, so that's what's happening. It was absolutely too much for me to record my podcast. I just couldn't. I didn't have it in me. From stress, from symptoms, and all of that stuff, and not recording was causing me additional stress. So I need to find a happy medium, even if I just record for a short time, for a few minutes, and just update on what's going on. It just causes me stress because it's part of my thing. It's part of my program. It's part of me practicing these principles in all of my affairs. Like, it helps me open my mouth, like I was talking about in my share on Friday, in my lead. It helps me to open my mouth. And I told them that. I said, I have a podcast that helps me open my mouth. If I don't open my mouth and get all of this pain out of me, it's just going to seep down into my dark place. And that is the kind of stuff that is a recipe for drinking again. And I can't do that. So I didn't go so much into practicing these principles in all of my affairs today, like I did in the Friday share. But I feel like what I really needed to do was just show up here, tell you what's been going on. I know that everybody, prayers are for my loved one, my mom. And I think that until I find out that it's worse than what I'm telling myself, I'm going to continue to believe that she's going to be fine, and thankfully my siblings were there for her to be able to take care of her. That's something I haven't been able to do, is get in the car and go to her. And that's really difficult for me as well. So I'm just going to end there. I know I really just wanted to give you an update, but I'm going to do my best to keep going even under all of this stress. So just so you know, I have 20 days to pack my entire house and get us we're going to be going to a Airbnb for about a week or two, between our two closings. So that's what I'll be doing. If I don't check in, you will know that Rachel is just taking care of herself and she's under a lot of stress. But don't think that this is going somewhere. You can't get rid of me that easy. I'm going to keep coming back. It's just that I have been needing a lot more breaks lately, and once things get back to normal in October, I think that you'll find things picking up a lot more regularly. So I just want to thank you. I continue to have increased followers, and I don't say it enough. I wanted to tell you thank you from the bottom of my heart for showing up here for me and for you, because I really feel this community, and I'm so appreciative. I'm so grateful that that I've got you. Oh, I want to say one more thing. I signed up for peer recovery a peer recovery certification course, and it's like a 5 or 6 week course, I think. Like 72 hour. Oh, it's a 72-hour course. I don't know. I should know that. I don't know. And wouldn't you know it, that I had signed up for this like months ago, and it starts on Monday, which is exactly when we signed a contract on my house, and I have it's like right in the time frame that I need to move. So I reached out to the gentleman that runs the class, and he immediately was flexible and allowed me to change and postpone my attendance to the class until the next one, which is in November and December. So I am so grateful. I'm so grateful. Everything is okay. I am living proof that you just keep showing up. Just keep coming back. It works if you work it. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. I promise I'll talk to you tomorrow.